will have Meet the Teacher night sometime after hours. Our teachers are compiling information and video presentations about themselves so that our students and parents can put a name to a face. And it's especially critical for our new students. So that will be available Friday night. Open house actually takes place on Tuesday. Of course, Monday is Labor Day. It's a holiday, but on Tuesday, September 8th, in the evening, PTO will kick off our open house, and administration will also have a video. And then parents, through use of their students' computers, will be able to attend their student schedule from periods 1 through 7 using Microsoft Teams, and actually seeing the instructional piece, the instructional expectations that the teachers have for this year. So in a nutshell, that's it. I'm here for a few minutes to answer any questions anyone has, or if anyone needs any clarification on anything.
There we go. Sorry, I was clicking the wrong button trying to unmute myself. Thank you. I've put up a chat in the corner. Any ideas about SAT for seniors is the first question we have.
Yes, we did receive information from the district in regards to dates for PSAT as well as SAT. Those dates are at the end of October, and there's only one date specified for seniors. I want to say it's somewhere between the 27th and the 29th, but it is only one day for the SAT for seniors. It's a window of time for the PSAT for students in grades 9, 10, and 11. So we will post that information on the website and also share that with the PTO. As of right now, beginning October 19th, my understanding is that we can bring in about 40% of our student enrollment. So I'm not exactly sure how the SAT will work for seniors or the PSAT for juniors. But between now and then, the district, I'm sure, will come up with a plan. And hopefully we can start bringing some of our students back. But of course, that's all contingent upon the numbers of COVID and how comfortable we all feel with our students returning to campus.
Is there anything that you can offer us about, because I know this is really what the counselors do, about college information for juniors and especially for seniors? Because everything's different this year.
Most definitely. The counselors can best provide information about that. As of right now, we're trying to make sure that students are in the appropriate classes. So I would say they would definitely be available after the first week of school. But joining Mr. Frau and Ms. Chapman, we also have Mr. Darnell Edwards, who will be working in the capacity of college-bound events and activities, questions and answers, and that kind of thing. We will, as normal, have a college night in which that certainly provides information and best practices. Later in the school year, we also hope to have our college financial night that provides additional information on that. There are some colleges, as you have probably heard, that have opened its doors for in-person learning. And from what I've read, that has not gone well for some colleges, unfortunately. So a lot of them, as you probably have heard, are doing the same thing we're doing with starting remotely with virtual learning. But once again, Mr. Frau, Ms. Chapman, and Mr. Edwards will certainly provide that information. I wouldn't expect that until at least let us get the school year started, and maybe the second week of the school year, we can provide more information.
Okay. I see two further questions. One big, broad one about the budget, and then a more detailed question about, can teachers post the name, author, and edition of textbooks they would be using? Is there a way for them to share that information, please?
I will certainly ask the teachers that. In regards to textbooks or any books that teachers are using, we can provide the ISBN number if parents and students want to research that and possibly get perhaps a used copy of the book so that they can have something in hand. I'm sure that's not so much of an issue. And I'm sorry, the first question was,
The budget.
oh, the budget. A big question. Um, as of right now, schools have been given 50% of their budget to start the school year. I do know that HISD is very concerned not only for the current school year, but for future years down the road and how COVID will possibly impact our budgets for years to come. So any kind of expenditure that we would like to make, we actually have to request that through our area superintendent. And that's via the form of a purchase order. All schools have what they call a Pro card, which is a MasterCard, but we are not permitted to use that without getting the express authorization of our area superintendent. So they are really looking at purchases that are absolutely necessary for schools, and so we don't have as much flexibility. I will say this year, our student enrollment is the largest that we've ever seen. We are anticipating about 935 students. As they say, you can't count your chickens before they hatch. So we won't know our actual enrollment until the first day of school or maybe even the second day of school. So our budget is contingent upon our student enrollment. But we did try to cushion our enrollment. So I may have projected slightly lower than 935, just in case, as you know, any typical school year, we have students that are committed to coming, but then they're on no-show on the first day. So in regards to the budget, school-wise, I think we're fine. But as of right now, we're only at 50% capacity budget-wise. And then sometime later in the year, most likely after the district snapshot at the end of October, I want to say October 30th, is probably when we'll get the remaining funds for the school year.
Okay.
And we will have a budget report as part of one of our PTO meetings, definitely in November, but hopefully I can give you a good idea, a better draft of how we're looking budget-wise.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Moss, we've got a couple of questions that are clarification, actually several when we break them down, that are clarifications for how class is going to be conducted. I'll just read them. To clarify what you said, every class period will have 30 of its 90 minutes in live session or synchronous with the teacher and students. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. And then following on that, what would 40% capacity look like if possible? Do we know yet?
Actually, we don't know. And so this is where we are awaiting more information from the state or more information on HISD's interpretation of the governor or the state and what we're allowed to do. I've heard different scenarios across the country where, again, 40% is brought back. And that's out of those students and parents who actually want to physically return to campus.
Mm-hmm.
Students and their parents may opt to continue with virtual learning throughout maybe the first semester. And by the way, every HISD school is on a 6-week grading cycle. And because we're starting a couple of weeks late, our school or our semester starts September 8th and it goes through January the 28th. So it's not the typical semester where we end right before winter break. We actually go to the end of January for the first semester.
Okay.
I've also heard where some school districts rotate students. So they bring back maybe 40% on a Monday, and then the next 40% comes on a Tuesday, maybe the remaining 20 on a Wednesday. And so that has not been worked out fully in HISD to my knowledge just yet.
Mm-hmm. And let's see. So that answers that question. And to clarify that virtual learning means live, well, Zoom learning, but the platform that the district is using is Microsoft Teams, correct? So being
Correct.
via Teams with a live teacher. Now, will the teachers be teaching from the school or from their homes? Do we know?
So just recently, I want to say maybe a week and a half ago, our district officials did decide to allow teachers to teach virtually from school if they wish. So we do have a small percentage of teachers who want to actually teach from their classroom. So for example, a science teacher who has access to all of the lab equipment, which would change on maybe a weekly basis. They would prefer to actually teach from the classroom, but that is completely their option, their choice. The majority of our teachers will be instructing from home virtually.
Okay. And well, live learning for all subjects every day. Yes, subject to the block schedule. Is that correct? Because we'll be having classes on alternate days.
Yes. So again, we'll use an odd day to begin with. That's periods 1, 3, 5, and 7. And then the even day is periods 2, advocacy 4, and 6. Starting at 8:30, ending at 4:10. All of those class periods are 90 minutes, including lunch. So some days your students will see a particular teacher twice, and then the following week they'll see that teacher 3 times.
Okay. And then how do the kids have access to books? We're back to the books question.
So
They're picking up books today, right?
Yes. So the only textbooks being distributed now, the hardbound textbooks, are AP Spanish 5 or AP Spanish Literature and AP European History. All of the other books are digital, or students have access to a virtual online copy of the book via Microsoft Teams.
Okay. And that is, how is that different from previous years? Because the district has done a lot of online textbooks over time, haven't they?
Yes, so it seems like every year we have more and more textbooks that are going to the digital format. And that way, if there are any updates or new additions or whatever, it's readily available in the students' hands and much less costly of buying a brand new book or books, if you can imagine the size of HISD. And plus with this virtual learning, it happens probably for the better benefit of all of our students that we're using online textbooks. Now, of course, some of the adoptions that were chosen by the district don't necessarily meet the standards of what our teachers consider the level of rigor for College Board or advanced placement courses. So, for example, we have AP Psychology, which years ago, the school decided to use part of our school funding to purchase psychology books that are not the virtual format. Unfortunately, we're at a place right now where the demand for psychology outnumbers the number of books that we have. And in mathematics, even though we have a digital copy of the district approved book, we know that some students prefer to have a hard copy. So I know that the school, as well as the PTO, is looking into some possible situations in regards to that situation.
Okay, thank you. And we have a question about attendance. Is each class attendance done separately? So if the student misses one of the many classes, they still have to submit the assignment for the specific class they missed?
That is correct. And so
Okay.
I think this is going to help out by having 3 classes on an even day and 4 classes on an odd day. Attendance is mandatory for each and every class period.
Okay.
That's
But
whether they attended in real time, or if they can't for whatever reasons, they still have to log on and submit an assignment once again by 11:59 p.m. that same day.
okay. But does a student, in order to, for TEA attendance purposes, they need to be in all their classes that day or only one? Do you know what the audit is going to look at in those terms?
So my understanding is that it's each and every class period.
Okay.
And they can once they meet with their teachers, they'll have a better idea if the teacher's instruction is going to start right at the beginning of the class and go on for 30 minutes, or if a particular teacher is going to lecture for 10 minutes and then have interaction with the students for the next 5 or 10 minutes, and then, go on kind of back and forth that way. Different teachers have different methods of providing instruction. So it would be important for the students to understand that for each and every class period.
Okay. And then working our way down, a parent concerned that counselors are right now discouraging seniors from emailing them, presumably while they get schedules sorted, but concerned about students applying early decision because those deadlines, of course, are much earlier than the standard.
Okay. This is the first time I've received inquiry about early decision, so I will ask the counselors about that. My understanding is that the counselors were encouraging students to email regarding course schedule changes. So that was my understanding. They might not be able to get to it immediately, but if they have an email, they can certainly answer after hours.
Okay.
But I will inquire regarding early decision and any kind of priority or need to maybe communicate or network with a counselor in terms of early decision.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and a question, there's one, and then I'll skip over to ask a question and then come back. There will be 935 students attending CVHS. How many of them are juniors and seniors? How does that split out?
I don't have that breakdown just yet. I'm so sorry. I can tell you that at the freshman level, we have, I want to say, approximately 250. And that's about the extent. I haven't looked at the breakdown recently.
Okay. A question, will there be a concept of office hours from teachers for students and parents? That's during that lunch break, right?
Yes, correct. And so each teacher will have a syllabus that includes their office hours and a breakdown of all of their classes, so on and so forth. And so that is definitely forthcoming. And I've asked for teachers to have that prepared by Tuesday.
Okay. And then skipping back up, would you be willing to communicate this to all parents via email, and a suggestion that a weekly email from administration to parents this year would be very, very welcome, given that everything is different and chaotic?
Sure. I'm glad to have some kind of frequency with notifications to parents. I don't know if I have enough information to provide it on a weekly basis. But yes, we're certainly willing to put together some kind of newsletter. In the past, I've kind of worked with PTO in upcoming dates and events and any kind of message, but there's probably more of a need this year for information, especially as HISD evaluates its plan. But I'm not sure about a weekly notification, but yes, more frequently. I'm perfectly fine to.
Thank you. So does anybody else have questions for Mr. Moss? Because I know you said you'd be here for a few minutes and it's been almost 30, even considering our technical difficulties in the beginning. Let's see, is the year calendar posted somewhere? That is on, there's a link on the school's official website to the HISD calendar, correct?
That should be posted on the Carnegie website.
Okay. All right. Any other questions for Mr. Moss? Oh, yes. Would the parent students get to know of any attendance if they missed somehow?
Yes. So thank you for your question. The teachers will be taking attendance throughout the day, naturally for every class period. My understanding is that the HISD will send a notification at 6 p.m. throughout the entire district in regards to any absences for students. And then once again, that's a reminder for the student, in order to be marked present, they would have to log on to the hub, complete an assignment, and actually submit that in the hub, as well as attend any kind of live Microsoft Teams recording, in order to once again be marked present.
Okay, let's see, questions. Any grade policy change? Because like last year, the last quarter was basically, you can only improve your grade, you cannot get worse.
So
So
that
back to normal or something in between?
is definitely back to normal. If you remember cycle 4, think of cycle 4 as a gift, where students they can only improve their grade. Starting this cycle, everything will count. So that's another reason why it's extremely important that students attend classes in real time. And for the rare instances that I'm thinking of that they can't, that they please keep up with the instruction, with the learning, and especially with their attendance and keeping on track academically.
Okay.
Every grade will.
I'm sorry, I thought you were finished. I apologize.
No problem at all.
Every grade counts.
Yes.
Okay. And then another question is, as far as we know right now, do the end of school dates in June and the graduation dates from the most recent calendar, those have not changed while we're not looking, right?
Not to my knowledge. I know that there were a couple of dates that changed, such as a teacher preparation day. I think January 29th is a Friday. Originally, that was the end of the first semester, but the district did change that and make it a teacher prep day. I don't remember seeing any changes to the end of the school year for June.
Okay. And we do go about halfway through June this year as a result of starting so late, right?
I don't have the calendar in front of me. I am at my computer. Let me see if I.
That's okay. Ms. Farrell has posted the calendar. I can only do 2 things at once, but not 3.
I understand. Okay, I do have the calendar. So it looks like the last day for students is June 11th, which is the second Friday of June 2021. And then the 14th, Monday the 14th, is the teacher's last day. That's the last day to finalize grades. And then report cards will be on June 18th. But the last day of students is June 11th, which is a Friday.
Okay, thank you. Any more questions? And then we'll move on to the PTO stuff. And we hope you'll stick around, even though we're not maybe the same level of critical, but we do help the school a lot, and we want to tell you about how.
If there are no more questions, parents, if you happen to think of anything after this call, feel free to email me. You know, this is a very unique year, unlike any other. And so I hope to have answers for you, but understand if I don't, I will certainly do my best to research your questions and get back to you with an answer from the officials in HISD. I do want to once again say welcome and welcome back. I definitely look forward to working with students and parents, at least virtually at the beginning of the school year. And as I've said in other meetings, I welcome your feedback, good or bad, and especially the bad, because we can only continue to grow positively from your feedback. So I'll take the good, the bad, just not the ugly. So thanks for keeping it positive. And once again, Carnegie wouldn't be what it is without the active participation of our parents. So once again, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here, and have a good afternoon.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, we'll transition to the PTO part of this coffee. I'm the president this year. I have a son named John who just graduated with the class of 2020. And I have also an incoming freshman with the class of 2024. So I have gotten at least one child all the way through this school, And we're starting over with an even bigger school and a different child and a different set of interests. So it's going to be the same in some ways and very different for me in others. Other PTO officers who are here, I see Helen Ghazali, who is the treasurer. I see Michelle Farrell is the parliamentarian, which is a term meaning her job is to make sure we're following our own rules. And Georgie Silverman is the vice president for volunteers. Maria Calzada is the person in charge of communications. She is at work today, but she says hi to everybody. And I also see Rachana Palacharla here. Rachana has been the vice president for fundraising. She's had to step back, but she is still present and helping out. And she has a daughter in the sophomore class this year. So you all have been around for at least a couple of years, even though some of you had sophomores who transferred. So this is a little different than a presentation to freshman parents who are still meeting the school. So we can tell you a little bit about what PTO does and has done. Our mission is to support Carnegie Vanguard through fundraising and volunteering. There are no dues to join the PTO. You join by putting your contact information in the PTO directory. We have a website that is www.vanguardian.org. Michelle, if you could put that in the chat, that would be great because I can't type and talk at the same time. Thank you. And everything that we're going to say is on the homepage of the Vanguardian, so hopefully it's very easy to find. The directory link is there. Then we've spent all summer working to move our operations online. That is a work in progress. And if you notice something that needs to be updated or fixed or doesn't work, please let us know and understand that we are all amateur volunteers who are doing the best we can, and we'll try to fix it if you let us know that there's something wrong. Let's see. I will hand it over to Georgie for the moment, and she will talk about what kind of volunteers we need. Usually at this time of year, we're asking for volunteers for things like magnet tours. We're asking for teacher appreciation lunches. We're asking for lots of in-person warm bodies in the building. And obviously that's not happening. So what do we need?
Thank you, Susan. I'm Georgie. I'm the Vice President of Volunteers, and I have a daughter who's going to be a junior at Carnegie. So like Susan said, we're doing everything a little differently this year, but I just wanted to go over, in case you didn't know, I'm going to share my screen so I can show you the Vanguardian website, which is, I'll pull it up right here. And let's see if I'm sharing it. Okay, here we go. All right, here's the vanguardian.org website. And it has these big red buttons which make it easy. You can get involved in the PTO. This is how you sign up. Stay informed is how you sign up for the newsletter that comes every week. I know someone was asking about a weekly information from Principal Moss, and sometimes he does put things in our newsletter, and we do send it out every week. This is how you donate to our annual fund, the Friends and Family Campaign, and Rashana is going to go over that more later. Here is the Cvhs Directory. Now this is important because you have to reactivate your directory thing every year. That's where it takes you to this page here. You have to hit this register login button, and then it has you confirm that your family information is current. And this is something you have to do every year. It's just the way it's set up. And then once you do that, you're again officially a member of the PTO. And then you also can confirm what information you want in the directory. And then here's this special button, sign up to volunteer. So this is one way to get there. And then this is the volunteer opportunities. So again, we're not in school, so some of these things aren't going to happen. But lunch sales is the Feed the Rhinos thing, where you embarrass your child by coming in and selling food during during their lunch period, and it's a great way to spy on them. So when we are back in school, if you sign up there, you'll be called about that. We also have teacher appreciation lunches. I'm sure some of you have participated in these, where you set up and serve the food during monthly events. I just had a meeting with all the teacher appreciation lunch chairs, and it's going to be a little bit different this year, but we're still going to need parents to sign up, at least maybe to donate food that we're going to deliver to teachers, and also along with trying to specify what kinds of stuff they would like delivered to their homes till we get them back in school. Magnet tours, like Susan said, those are going to be different. That's really Principal Moss's way of, it's up to him and his team how they're going to do those digitally, but I'm sure they're still going to need parent involvement, even if it's not showing up on campus. We really need some event planners to help us plan the fall social and the spring social, which are fundraising things. But if you have any experience event planning, or it's just like you like to organize a party, it would be great to have you on board, because we really need some help with that. Our PTO does such great work for the students and the parent community, and it would be really, these are important to bring in funds that we can use. And also we just need people to work those events. Senior class parents, as some of you are, this is important. You oversee fundraising activities to help set off the expenses incurred during senior events. The Senior Awards Committee, you review applications in the spring and select awardees. Friends and Family Campaign is what Rashana will go over. That's our annual fund. If you have anybody who does a corporate sponsorship, if you can help get community donations, if you want to sign up for the Financial Audit Committee next year, I'll tell you all about it. And then generally, if you don't know what you want to do, just sign up there, because that's fun too. And down here, we have carpools for when we get back into school. We may have no buses or limited buses, so you may want to sign up to get hooked up with somebody else in your zip code. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. I hope that was helpful to everybody. If you have any questions for me, just type them in the chat. What else did I want to say? I guess we're just, you know, this is going to be a different kind of year, and we're all going to have to really support each other. I will say, for me, volunteering has always been a great way to get to know other parents, and get to kind of see how the whole school operates. And our PTO does such great things for the students that it makes me feel good to be involved. So that's it from me. Thank you.
Unmute. I'm having such trouble with the unmute button. Georgie, before we let you completely off the hook, can you talk about the consumables drive or the school supply drive?
Sorry about that. I forgot about that. This year, every year, as you know, I'm sure a lot of you have participated, we do a teacher school supply drive where we put up a wish list on Amazon, and parents can donate supplies that the teachers need for their classrooms. And in past years, we've done that in conjunction with the teacher appreciation lunch and like delivered them to the teachers. Of course, they're not going to be able to do that this year, but we do know that the teachers will still need supplies. So you will be hearing more about this in the future. Probably it will look something like it always looks, where you donate through Amazon and get it sent there, or you come and drop it off at the school without going inside or something. And then teachers will either come by and probably pick it up on a prearranged basis. So just look for that. Sign Up Genius from me, like letting you know what the teachers will need. It's a great way to support not just the teachers because they need those supplies, but lots of times those teachers are making sure their students who don't have supplies get them. So, all right, that's it. If anybody has any questions, again, just let me type something in the chat. All right, bye.
All right. Rachana, can you talk to us for a few minutes about friends and family?
Sure. Thank you, Susan. I'm Rachana Palacharla, and I've been with the PTO for more than two years. I was doing what Georgie was doing as VP Volunteers, but this year I chose VP Fundraising. Unfortunately, I can't continue further, but let me go over some of the details of what we do as in fundraising. Did you all know that HISD froze all the school accounts when the pandemic started? Which meant the senior activities and any events that the school would have funded were all frozen too. from the questions, I gleaned that there's quite a few senior parents here, and you might be interested that that's devastating for many seniors. The hands were tied with the school, but PTO stepped in. We did our best. We bought T-shirts for all of the students in the senior class. We organized a drive-through diploma drive with the help of the administration and Principal Moss. Suddenly, the disgruntled seniors turned out to be very appreciative graduates. Not just that, I think there's a lot more that the PTO does. We always look out for families in need. Every year, we collect food items and gift cards during Thanksgiving, Christmas, and end of the year to basically help those families in need. This year, when the pandemic started, there was hardly a way for us to contact parents and collect. So PTO just went ahead and sponsored gift cards for grocery stores so that they can at least have something that they can abide on. We also look out for teachers and staff. We bought them equipment when they need it. We sponsored so many clubs. For example, there was a new track club that was started last year. Cvhs never had one. The coach was really trying to get the existing cross-country parents to pitch in, but that wasn't really cutting close at all. PTO stepped in. We sponsored their entire equipment. Now we have a track club. There's also a lot more we do. I have it all on our site, but before we go there, there's also other ways that you could contribute to the PTO other than just volunteering is through your donations. And your donations make a big difference. And that's where the friends and family drive comes in. We need your help. We really need your help. This year, we don't have all the events that we usually do for fundraising. So we are trying other means for you to get to you so that you can contribute. Mark my words, senior parents, when we spent the money for the senior event, we had no way to contact any parents quickly. We just had to spend. So you donate now, it will probably be used when it's really, really needed. So I want to go over a site and quickly show you where to find this information. I have this typed in the chat box, and let me share my screen. You could go to the Vanguardian page that Georgie had showed you before and go to the Get Involved PTO. You will find the fundraising page. From here, you could just go to this page. It will point you to our new website that we have been using for most purposes, for volunteering, or this is where you actually enroll for your directory also. Once you've logged in, maybe I should just log in. Once you've logged in, you're presented with this screen. And the last step is here, it says the friends and family fundraising. You can just go in there or use the link I just sent you. Here I have the details of what PTO does, the main highlights of what PTO does with the funds that we acquired. And then I have a way for you to do your donation, give your donations to PTO. You can specify the amount you need and how you want it to be recognized in our directory or in the newsletter, anywhere that you want it to be recognized. We also added this recently just to get a feedback from you to see where do you want your funds to go to. Now, I cannot guarantee that it will go to the place that you want it to, because sometimes our needs are much bigger than our wants. So we have seen that last year. We didn't expect the expenses that we had to spend last year. So we can't guarantee you, but we would definitely like to know where you want the funds to go to. There is also something that we do every year. I'm sure you're aware of it. You see that in the newsletters where depending on your donation, you get some perks, and you'll also be recognized in those categories. Like, for example, when we had a spring social, you get 2 free tickets if you're in a certain donation group. Now, if you are not comfortable doing this online because you have to pay credit card fees, there is a way to send us checks and have all that information there too. This is a means where it's a direct donation to us. You could also contact your company, and maybe they do sponsor school where you based on your donation, they also match your donation or double it up. Depends on the company how it does it. Please contact your HR so that they can give you more information. If that happens, then we get in more funds. So those kind of corporate donations are also very useful for us. Last year we had one. There is also other means is when you're shopping at the grocery stores like Kroger or Randall's or even Office Depot, some of the part of the proceeds are given to us. All you have to do is register with us. That information is on our Vanguardian site. Actually, I can't find it, but we will send it. We will send that information in our newsletter, and please watch out for that.
Sorry. The reason you can't find it is because I worked on editing the website yesterday, so I can tell you there should be a tab under fundraising on the top menu.
Oh, here, nice. There you go, nice. But you said there's a tab, different types. Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
So here is where we have the vendor programs. And as you can see, the easiest is Amazon's Smile. Lately, we're all shopping online because we don't want to step out into grocery stores. So this is the best way. You just have to register as Carnegie as where your donations go. And same thing with Kroger, Office Depot, and Randall's. There's information. Just click on that links that we provided, and then you should be taken to those how to register for them. Like I said, there's different means. Please do donate to the PTO. This year, like I said, we would have done more fun things in person, but our hands are tied. But we will try to do our best. But you do your part and see if you can donate so that we will be able to sponsor the most important things for the school and help our students and smoothen their ways. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'm going to stop sharing.
Thank you. I can talk a little bit on Maria Calzada's behalf. She's the communications vice president, and it's a big job. I noticed somebody said previously in the chat, not all of us are on Facebook, and that is so very true. Facebook remains a very strong channel of communication, but we're also trying to, like, everybody got sent a postcard about these coffees. There was one for the freshman class, for the sophomore class, and then for the junior seniors together. So the mail, we're trying to come up with, somebody just got us, I guess it was Elaine, just set us up a YouTube channel where we can post videos like this one. So we're trying to increase the ways in which we reach out to parents, but that's a lot of work. So if you are interested in helping with that kind of work, please let Georgie know and she will funnel you through to Maria Calzada. I can also talk a little bit about the little square that Rachana showed you in the donation form about where do you want your donation to go. And she said, we can't make promises about that. It is still an unrestricted fund, but we are trying hard to listen to where parents want their money to go and what kinds of projects you all want to support. At the same time, we are asking the teachers what they want. And that is a habit of long standing. The teachers have always gotten a little annual stipend for the PTO, from the PTO for their classrooms. They get the benefit of the school supply drive as well. That I will speak a little bit out of turn here and say I would advise you to look for that when we know when we're going back to school, because we have also asked them for what they need to teach from home or what they need to teach virtually. And it is turning out to be more big things and software subscriptions rather than small objects that could be run through an Amazon. And that's a work in progress. Helen, as she puts her budget together, which we will be able to vote on at the October meeting, it won't be ready on the night of open house. And I think that's okay because nobody will be paying attention to it at open house anyway. We'll post it on the website at some point within the month, and then you'd be able to take a look at it and ask questions if you have them, but that's not done yet. So Helen is asking the teachers through, there's a teacher rep on the PTO executive board, Heather Hill, who is the AP and research teacher, along with a couple of electives. She is the teacher representative to the PTO executive board. And so she is asking teachers what they want and then funneling them back to this group, which may be more detail than you all wanted, but now you know. Do you have to be a PTO member to be able to donate through your grocery purchases? Can I ask my son's uncles to do that? No, you don't, and absolutely, please do spread that information to anybody who's willing to do it. We would really appreciate that. Let's see, and then is the teacher meet and greet this Friday live? I honestly don't know, and so I will forward that question to Mr. Moss. What time is Tuesday, September 8th open house? I believe it is at 7 o'clock, but as we get more information on that, we'll post it. And I would think that you would get both an email and a call out from the school about that. So I certainly hope so. As to going back towards district things, something that is of interest to Carnegie people, and it got a little bit upset by the hurricane, but the community outreach group from HISD is running seminars or like half-hour webinars about special populations, which includes gifted talented. So this September 3rd, so Thursday, 2 days from now, I don't have it in front of me. It's either 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock p.m. There is a half-hour webinar about secondary gifted ed. And so I would encourage any of you who want to know what the rules are and what we ought to be able to expect per the district, please tune into that. I plan to. And I'll post that on Facebook later, probably in the next, either this evening or tomorrow. Trying to think what else. Mr. Moss talked about the virtual ed online training. I have done that. It's like a 20-minute short and simple video about, it's basically down to, do you understand what they mean when they use particular terms and who to contact if you have a problem, you know, your child's IT specialist, somebody at Hattie Mae White, and so on and so forth. Looking at my notes here, new Grade Speed Parent Connect. Since we're all veterans of this game, you're probably familiar with Parent Student Connect. The district, after years of promising that they're going to, has finally gotten around to updating that. And the way that Carnegie could email that out was, for whatever reason, not directly to us, but to our kids to make sure that everybody has it. So I have not done this yet, but please ask your teenager to log into the hub and give you the information you're supposed to have. We're supposed to have some kind of individual code for our students that enables us to get the information that we're supposed to have in order to be able to check on things like their grades. I know in the old Grade Speed they had, thank you, Amy is saying, I got my student's code at scheduled pickup yesterday. So for the last few 2.5 hours of pickup, that's another way to do it. And if your kid has a paper code, then apparently it's on there. Is that right, Amy? Can you tell us about that?
Yes, she came in the car with the Carnegie PTO letter and with her schedule, and then this note from HISD, and it's specific to her, to the parent guardian of Sean Wood, and it has an access ID, which is completely random, has nothing to do with her student ID, so you will need to have it for sure. and access password. And I was able to get logged in about 3 minutes this morning. So it's a very easy setup.
That is great. Can you tell us what to expect in there? How does it compare to GradeSpeed?
I looked at it for a few minutes and then shut it down. So I always looked at the GradeSpeed app. I have to say I never went on to Hub. I just used the app. And here I was logging in on my laptop since it was for the first time. It's a lot more information than what you see in the interface on your app. But it shows their attendance in every single class. So I know that HIC is going to do a call out across the district at 6 o'clock if your student has missed any classes. But you can also, it's the first screen you see is their attendance and for each class. So that's another place you can go to see that. But again, I don't have a lot of information.
Okay.
It was just a brief glance and I was like, whoa, this is a lot. So I closed it down.
Well, thank you for being willing to share, because that little bit of information is that's like, I just hadn't gotten there yet. So thank you. I think that is, I know I'm missing something, and my inclination when I'm missing something is to keep talking until I remember it, which would probably bore you all. So who has another question? Nobody? Really? For sure? Well, in that case, I would encourage everybody to revisit Vanguardian. We are trying to do a new and improved job this year of keeping that updated, keeping it user-friendly, keeping the calendar current. PTO meetings should be the third Thursday of every month. We don't have, the dates are posted on the calendar on the PTO website, but we don't have times posted yet, largely because we don't know whether they're going to be online or in person beyond the first one, which will be September 8th. Then there will be, we won't meet the third Thursday in September because that would be too soon. And then by the third Thursday of October, hopefully school will have started. So we'll be able to plan those things later. And a little bit about the structure of the PTO, just a little. Anybody can be a member. All you have to do is have a child at Carnegie Vanguard High School and put your name in the directory. In the spring, we get a nominations committee together, and generally from the ranks of active volunteers, ask people if they're interested in elective office, and generally present a caucus slate to the general population of the PTO to be voted on. So that's how all of us who are officers here today got where we are. So please be thinking about that if that's something that interests you in the future. I just want to confirm that at 8:30 a.m. Tuesday, it's actually September 8th, my kid needs to get online and get going with a class. Yes, that's right. All right, it is 2:04. If you've got questions, please use Facebook to ask them. And Ms. Farrell, or Michelle, because we're not in front of the kids right now, has listed the YouTube channel, the Instagram account, and a couple of other communications in the side chat bar. This recording will be posted probably to the YouTube channel. We thank you all for coming. Please ask those questions, email one of us if you've got more questions. And we're really, really appreciative that you came, and we can all work together to have a great year in spite of everything. So have a good day, and we'll see everybody on probably Friday night. Bye now.